This is the hidden system behind your shrinking income. And it's happening not because you suddenly became less skilled or you stopped working hard, but because the rules of money quietly changed while you were busy living your life. If you don't see this system clearly, it will keep pulling value out of your pocket year after year, even if your salary goes up. By the end of this video, you'll understand why earning more no longer guarantees getting ahead, who actually benefits from this setup, and what changes once you understand how the system really works. Most people feel something is off. You earn more than you did 5 or 10 years ago, but life feels tighter. Groceries feel expensive, housing feels out of reach, and savings don't grow the way you expected. At first, it looks like bad luck or poor budgeting, but that explanation doesn't hold up because millions of people across different countries are experiencing the same thing at the same time. That's your first clue. This is not a personal problem. It's not you. It's the system. This system doesn't rely on crashing economies or obvious disasters. It works best when things look normal, when you're busy, distracted, and just comfortable enough not to question it. Keep that in mind, because it explains why most people never see it coming. So let's start with the most visible layer of the system, why your income feels weaker even when the number goes up. Wages are usually measured in nominal terms, meaning the raw number on your paycheck. But what actually matters is purchasing power, how much real life that money buys you. Over the last decades, productivity kept rising. People produce more value per hour than ever before, yet wages did not rise at the same pace. This gap didn't appear by accident. It came from changes in labor dynamics, globalization, automation, and bargaining power slowly shifting away from workers. Even if wages had kept up, that still wouldn't explain why you feel squeezed, because the second layer of the system hits even harder. That second layer is asset inflation. Prices don't rise evenly. Things you need to survive, like housing, education, healthcare, and energy, tend to rise faster than wages. Meanwhile, assets like stocks, real estate, and private businesses grow much faster than consumer prices. This creates a split economy. If you own assets, your wealth compounds. If you only earn income, you tread water. This is why two people with the same salary can end up in completely different financial realities over time. One owns appreciating assets early, the other relies purely on labor. The system rewards ownership far more than effort. Now let's pause for a second, because this leads to a deeper question. If this dynamic is so powerful, why don't more people talk about it clearly? The system doesn't need secrecy. It needs complexity and distraction. Most financial conversations are framed around personal responsibility alone. Budget better, hustle more, cut lattes, optimize expenses. Those things matter, but they conveniently ignore the bigger structure. When attention stays on micro decisions, no one questions macro rules. And while you're busy optimizing small leaks, the main pipeline keeps redirecting value upward. This brings us to the third layer, money creation itself. Most people think money enters the economy through government spending or central banks printing cash. In reality, the majority of money is created through credit. When banks issue loans, new money appears. This matters because the system favors those who can access cheap credit early. Businesses, institutions, and asset owners borrow at low rates, buy assets, and benefit as prices rise. By the time higher prices reach everyday life, wages lag behind. This isn't about conspiracy, it's about incentives. Credit flows toward what already looks profitable and safe, and that naturally concentrates wealth over time. With that said, it leads us to one question. If money creation and asset growth favor certain players, what happens to everyone else? They become income dependent in a system designed to reward ownership. When your entire financial life depends on a paycheck, you are exposed to inflation, layoffs, automation, outsourcing, and policy shifts you don't control. Even stable jobs slowly lose leverage over time. This is why safe careers feel less safe than they used to. Now here's where behavior matters, because the system doesn't just affect numbers, it shapes decisions. When people feel financial pressure, they delay investing, take on bad debt, avoid risk, and stay reactive. That behavior makes sense emotionally, but it reinforces the system. Those who already own assets can afford patience, while those who don't are forced into short-term thinking. This is one of the most under-discussed feedback loops in finance. Even if you understand all of this, awareness alone won't protect you. The system also shapes how you think about money. You're taught to see income as success. Promotions, raises, titles, but income is temporary. It stops when you stop working. Wealth, on the other hand, is durable. It continues regardless of your time. The system pushes most people to chase income while a small group quietly focuses on ownership. That difference compounds over decades. Now, let's address the uncomfortable question. Is this system designed to shrink your income on purpose? No one wakes up trying to make you poorer, but systems don't need intent to produce outcomes. They only need aligned incentives. And right now, incentives reward leverage, scale, and ownership far more than labor. That's why the gap keeps widening even without dramatic events. So, if this is the system, what can you realistically do without pretending you'll escape overnight? First, you stop measuring progress only by income. Income matters, but it's a tool, not the goal. The real metric is how quickly income converts into assets that don't require your constant presence. Second, you pay attention to where money flows, not where it sits. Following spending habits alone misses the point. The key is understanding who benefits from rising prices and positioning yourself closer to that side over time, even in small steps. Third, you protect optionality. The system punishes rigidity. Skills that compound, networks that open doors, and liquidity that allows movement are all forms of financial defense. They don't show up on balance sheets, but they matter more than most people realize. And finally, you reject the lie that struggle is always personal failure. That mindset keeps people quiet and isolated. Understanding the structure doesn't remove responsibility, but it removes shame. And shame is one of the most effective tools this system uses to stay unchallenged. The hidden system behind your shrinking income doesn't collapse. It adapts, it doesn't announce itself, it normalizes itself. And the longer you operate inside it without adjusting your strategy, the more invisible it feels. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. From that point on, every financial decision changes. Not because you panic, but because you finally understand the game you're playing. And in finance, awareness is not power by itself, but it's the only place power starts. If you want to stay ahead, you don't need hype, extremes, or false promises. You need clarity about how money actually moves, how behavior is shaped, and where long-term advantage really comes from. That's the difference between earning more and keeping more. And now you know why your income feels like it's shrinking, even when the number says otherwise.